It's February 28, 2019, and this is All Things Veritas. Thank you for joining me here today, everyone. I am thankful for just the few new subscribers and friends who have been reaching out and watching, and the likes and everything. It's very exciting, it's very cool. We'll see where this continues to go and grow as I try to work on these videos and to improve them. And yes, you got to see my wonderful and beautiful wife yesterday. I'm very thankful for that. She was on there, and we could just start sharing some things about what she's reading and where we're kind of, going as in each of our research, and what we think and how we think. So yeah, it's very important, very cool. That video would have been up yesterday, but I'm also working on trying to do some better editing. Sorry about the audio there. Still working these things out, the video quality. Eventually we'll have a really good camera, things of that, to really do well, and then software and everything. But we got what we got, but thankful to be doing this. And yeah, I really want to make these videos of a good quality and good importance, not just me just talking to talk. Or really want to make it interactive and learning and growing, and just expanding not only our minds but faith, especially, but just trying to get deep into the issues in our world and problems that we need to solve. So, but thank you for coming along on this. I've been doing some reading, just a little light reading here. Doing my study on this, really trying to get into Mises' head on socialism. I like it. I really try hard to get the gist of what he's saying, take my own notes on that, but at the same time seeking to, I argue, not necessarily always against, but I do argue against even people I agree with just because it's good for you, but also just trying to, we have different perspectives on the market and everything too, so it's good for me to just kind of get those mulling through my head as I work on my book idea and talking about socialism, but also just the different things going on in America, right? Identity politics, the state of our country, and then just the events going on in the world, and us talking about healthcare and welfare and inequality and all these important issues that really do cause us to bump heads and to just come at all kinds of different angles. We come from all these different viewpoints, and yet we end up just ending up way too divided and way too angry over things that are important, no doubt. But I do believe there are right answers. Sometimes it's just really hard, and so what we end up doing is we pick a side and we just cave in and we start fighting all the way. But I definitely want to be a peacemaker in the midst of that, even though I do hold firm to stances, and I'm not afraid to do that, and I will be doing that. But I want to also try to reason some. Reason isn't everything, but it's certainly an important tool that we have in our toolboxes of arguments and ideas. I'm a little tired today, so beautiful. It's beautiful, but it's been raining and cold, and so you know how you get. But I'm going to just show first a few books that I did get yesterday as well that I didn't get to show. The Never-Ending Story. Very cool novel. I'm excited to read this. If you've seen the movie, it's good. But I've never gotten to read the novel, and it's just famous. So I definitely glad to have it now in my collection. And I don't read a lot of nonfiction, but I try to be very selective with it. I don't read a lot of fiction, but I read mostly nonfiction. But when I do read some fiction, I try to be really selective on it, especially in terms of are these books going to have maybe something that I can use in my research. Now, there are a few times that I just get things to let the brain go at ease, and there's a lot of good, actually, great writers and thinkers that talk about that. Sometimes it's just good to get that book that you can just sit on the beach or by the pond or whatever, and just let your brain kind of just, that is. So, very nice. And yes, and speaking of literature, we'll grab another one. Faulkner, Light in August. I've never had any Faulkner's work, but it's funny because I was able to get all these books on Faulkner from a library sale, and they were all, either critiques or just about his other works, and specific books that are about this book and the insight of Faulkner on his thinking on this. But I actually don't have the book, and that's kind of sad. So I had to get it when I saw it, and I was thankful I got this. Look forward to reading it. I know about the time period is in between World War I and World War II. And what's nice about Faulkner's work is that he really does try to get in depth about humans, about how we interact, and relationships and sex, race, gender. All these different things are imbued in his works, and so I like that, and maybe give some good insight about human nature. I don't know. I've never actually read Faulkner though, so if anyone knows of this book and where it works, please comment. Let me know. I'm looking forward to it though. And then two nonfiction works. The Art of Mathematics by Jerry King. Why would I have this book? Because I'm really, really, really trying to grasp essentials of mathematics and biology and all these different areas in the harder sciences. And I like using a lot of history to do that. And I think actually we should all use history in our learning. That's going to be something that I would like to, I will explore and I use in my pedagogical my pedagogy, my theory of knowledge, of teaching. That's what pedagogy is, but our pedagogy, we all, I know there's a right way of saying that word, but yes, that is kind of, well, I got that idea. I think I've always had that, but by always I mean ever since I've kind of really thought deeply about these issues, going about high school or so. I kind of slowly developed these things, but when I got about 18, 19, I was reading a book by Diane Ravage, who's a education historian, and she talks about how we should use history as kind of a basis in learning, and I like that. I use history to help explore ideas and help bring about subjects in a larger context, and also explaining about the times, and so I like that. And this is, I think, part of what this book does, but also it's supposed to be kind of humorous. It's supposed to be just kind of exploratory about the mass and everything, and yeah, very cool. I just look forward to reading that and hopefully getting some more insight. And then a book that I saw, The Great American University, Its Rise to Preeminence, An Indispensable National Role, and Why It Must Be Protected by Jonathan R. Cole. You can actually see the price tag there, but yes, everything I can get on higher education, because I definitely think higher education is in trouble, and I'm trying to come up with, if I'm accepted into the PhD program, and if I'm not, whatever, we'll use research and develop mechanisms to build more sustainable means of higher education, meaning not just institutionally, but meaning administrative and teaching and all these different parts that make up academia, but also that need to go and need to be changed. I believe in PhD reform extremely. I believe that the liberal arts is still very, very valuable, but how can we integrate that and maybe update that a little bit? Of course, I'm very much for Christian education. It's going to be a lot my focus and area, working with churches and higher education, but I definitely want to help people in the public realm. And what would that look like? And it's good to have all these works to help explore those areas and understand what's going on and what's the problems in academia. So that's definitely part of the reason why, too, I went into my degree that I did, which was higher education. It's really higher education administration, but the program was called Higher Education Leadership and Policy Studies. And so I kind of like that name because it tries to focus on leadership and policy and everything. So but they all are, right? That's what academia is supposed to be doing. So, and then lastly, of course, I'm going to be trying to put together here. So two more things. The Psalm series I want to start doing. I'm going to start doing that once I have done in my notes. Okay, so I'm going to try to do 5 Psalms a week, and then once a week do a Psalm series. So a Psalm in on the YouTube here. So in other words, once I finish Psalms 5, then I go back to Psalm 1, look over my notes, and kind of put it in together in a PowerPoint, work on these videos and whatnot, and then we'll kind of just go through the Psalm. And I haven't picked a date yet or anything, but that's kind of the general direction I'm kind of feeling. And that way it gives me not only time to really focus on these Psalms and you need a little bit more, but also gives me some time to give some room. So if I don't, if something going on in the week or work or things just happen, I can not have to worry about getting everything all in one place because I do have notes and everything in advance. So, but I try to do these notes every day, so to keep sticking with that, I'll be good. And then lastly, I want to start another series called Thinking Experiments, or something maybe more catchy, but just these. I kind of had a thought about, I don't know if it was a dream, but it was like this thought about one of the thought experiences that I want to do is something that I learned about at a conference, and I'll talk about that in the thought experiment. But yeah, I just want to get our brains kind of just working, just thinking, a bit abstractly, but also more practically. And that's, I don't. When you think of a thought experiment, especially in philosophy, you'll have these. It'll be a scenario, it'll be a set of events, and try to get you to think outside your other side of the box about what you're in, and saying, to the fundamental principles, the most fundamental rules in which rule in our society or dictate our lives. And we'll talk about first principles. First principles being that which cannot be. They're the most foundational. Nothing. You get yourself to the most purest idea possible, and then you build off of that. And again, I'll explain that more. But these thought experiments are just they're going to be just kind of expansive across everything. I mean, sociology, politics, economics, it doesn't matter. And they're just trying to just little fun things to do. And then, there are other series that I will be doing besides the Psalm series, but I will be working on that. And then, if you have recommendations or thoughts or things you'd like to see too, please feel free to comment, email, whatever you like. Friends of mine know how to reach me. And we'll kind of work that through. So thank you so much for watching today. Please like, subscribe, share, comment. Appreciate everything, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. And thank you for viewing All Things Veritas. See y'all soon. Bye.